Ladies and gentlemen, the American German Bulldog Nation, I got 3 history facts to share with you. In 1937, they passed the Marijuana Tax Act. And what that was, not tax act, they banned it. No more marijuana and none of its products, and none of its, back in 1937. Crazy, isn't it? Einstein's letter was sent today in history to FDR. This is a great story, and you know why it's a great story? Because somebody in the mailroom who's reading all these letters for FDR thought this letter might be worth sending to the president, and he did, and it led to the Manhattan Project. That person right there is an oracle. And last but not least, today in history, August 2nd, is when they began signing the Declaration of Independence that was passed on July 4th. All right, let's get right with it. The river barriers in Texas, Circuit Appeals case says they can stay. Texas wins. Adam Schiff versus Steve Garvey of the Dodgers. How can anybody in California vote for Schiff over Steve Garvey? By the way, California it's scary. They've killed the golden goose. They took the most gorgeous state in our entire country, from north to south, Pacific Ocean, along that whole Pacific, all that they had, the winery, the fruits, the vegetables. By the way, you know California is our largest farming state? They have destroyed, LA, the movies are being made there. And they've destroyed this state. Adam Schiff is more the same. The whistleblowers come forward to say that this guy who testified this week, the acting director, was the guy who killed adding counter surveillance. Isn't that wild? He's the guy that said, nah, you ain't getting anything else. Governor Shapiro's canceled all his weekend appointments. And on Tuesday, there's going to be a big shebang. It looks like Shapiro's going to be the guy. Prisoner swap has been complete, and the 2 Americans, are back on American soil. Thank God. You ready for this? They are saying more and more people, and it just breaks my heart, that more and more people are having to choose to decide air condition or groceries. How sad is that? The Hanya bomb, the Hamas leader who got blown up, apparently the Israelis had that bomb planted where it was for weeks, waiting to detonate it. That's pretty wild. I tell you right now, the Israelis must have incredible, on-the-ground human spies. It must be unbelievable. J.D. Vance went to the border, and J.D. Vance pointed out how bad Kamala was at the border. J.D. Vance has actually been to the border now, going once, more than Kamala, because he went where the border really is a problem. Dow Jones collapsed like 500 points. Biggest loss. Guess what it's doing now? Collapsing a little bit more. It's down 719. Yesterday was 500. So yesterday was the biggest day. Now this is the second day. They're worried that the American economy collapsed. Wow. What's Joe Biden going to do? Donald Trump says he raised $138 million in July. And the Ayatollah Khomeini says he has ordered a strike against Israel. 53 drones were knocked out of the sky during the Olympics so far. Can you imagine? CarShield had to pay a $10 million fine for fraud. McDonald's says, remember I was talking about California? McDonald's says California is the place where its stores are having troubles and getting pummeled. How sad is that? How sad is that? RFK Jr. is qualified for 8 more states. Not Kentucky yet. All right, U.S. Army. There's been a major report put out that basically says our Army isn't ready. What's going on is what Joe Biden has done, that our Army is not ready to fight a war if we have to fight Russia and China at the same time. The 9/11 terrorists are being spared life. You believe that? They're not going to die. They're not going to die. The Sheikh said he held what was that journalist's name, and slit his throat. He's the guy that slit his throat. They did the movie about it with Angelina Jolie. Yeah, anyway, they're not going to get their death penalty. It's sick. Jobless claims are way up. Something's going on, folks. Young men are voting for Trump now. The majority of young men are going to vote for Trump. First time this has happened in 20 years. You know what? The way men have been treated by the woke culture, do you blame them? This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Do not be a monstrous, lumpish bugbear.